Okay. So, do you want to introduce yourself?
Absolutely. My name is Ken Agerlund. I am based out of Copenhagen, but I spend like 50% of my time traveling the world with my job, working as a configuration manager MVP. I do the traveling because I'm doing a lot of training and also on-site consulting work.
Okay. So, would you work, Ken?
I work for a Danish company called Cortec. It's a 100% system center dedicated company, and as of today we're 17 system center consultants.
Okay.
Been working there for 13 years.
Okay, what exactly do you do at Cortec then?
My responsibility is being the main system center configuration manager architect.
Yep.
So that's what I do most.
Okay. How do you view the Microsoft community?
I see, especially now for my part, that's the config manager part, that the community there is extremely strong. I have never seen a community where you can actually get that much help, that quick, and not only responses to post and so on, but also find a lot of utilities, and I mean it's just awesome. I'm amazed every single day.
Excellent, good stuff. Okay, so obviously you're a config manager guy. What specifically interests you? Something within config manager, or are there any sort of tools outside of config manager that specifically interest you at the moment?
So my work with config manager, it's actually more or less all the parts in config manager.
Yeah.
What I find really interesting is that you will not be able to really succeed, in my opinion, in a config manager product at a customer without actually knowing a lot about the customer. So where are they right now? What are the plans for the coming years and so on? So knowing about config manager is much more than just know about the technology. You really need to know your customer.
Okay, good answer. I like. Okay, so how did you actually become an MVP?
So I've been an MVP now for 3 or 4 years. I don't actually know who nominated me. You're not told that by Microsoft, but I've been very active in the communities.
Yeah.
And I've also been active as a speaker. So to be honest, I do believe that has to play a key role in that. Over the last years, I've also been writing books. But still speaking at conferences. I'm also the local president, co-president of the Danish System Center User Group. So that also plays a key part in my MVP nomination.
Okay, takes a bit of your time up doing that as well?
Sorry?
Does it take some of your time up, quite a bit of time doing the user group stuff as well as your job?
I would say I don't know exactly how many hours, but it's quite a bit. We in Denmark we run our user groups with 2 to 4 on-site meetings a year, and they're typically a full-day event. And there's also, there's a lot of work in between those events, but especially those days up to those events where I wouldn't say it's a full-time job, but I mean maybe my wife.
It can be sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes, yeah.
Your family might disagree.
Yeah, they might disagree. Yeah.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. So where might you see yourself in 2 years' time? Still MVP? Still at Cortec? Still config manager?
So I will hopefully I will still be at my present company, because we're going through a lot of very interesting things right now, expanding and so on. So I definitely want to be a part of that, and I see System Center as one of the key areas that Microsoft is focusing on. So I definitely want to be in that spot. I have lately become more and more into the cloud integration, playing around a lot with the cloud-based distribution point in Azure.
Yeah. Also
the Windows Intune part, the MDM part. So I definitely see that as becoming more and more interesting.
Okay, great. As a guy who meets a lot of people in lots of businesses, have you had any sort of strange or odd requests over the years? What's the sort of oddest thing you've been asked to do?
So strange things I've been asked to do.
Any unusual requests that you might have had from customers? maybe not come across anywhere?
Actually, not that I mean, we do get a lot of requests about how we can actually kind of bend the product to do stuff that it was not meant to do.
Is that something you guys do? You can customize or?
Yeah, we actually, my colleagues and I are kind of famous for creating utilities. So we do have a few utilities, and usually we create utilities when we find a spot in the product that is not covered by Microsoft.
Yeah.
So for instance, remember when they introduced Config Manager 2012, they introduced all the user-centric stuff, and they also introduced the application approval.
Yeah.
And one of the questions from the audience was, okay, so can we actually tie that together with an email approval? And the answer was no. So my first note was, that's not true. So I went back to a few of my developers and said, hey guys, we have a challenge. And I think that 3 months later we came up with a free community tool that actually solves that issue.
Yeah, I know an application I used of yours recently was changing the source paths packages that you migrated.
Exactly, yeah.
Really useful too, especially when you're dealing with many packages.
Yeah, actually we had another tool also, the shutdown tool. And that's apparently being used by the police in the UK, because they called me. So really? I got a call from a station in the UK, and I was like, what have I been doing? And then it turned out that they were actually using the tool. Excellent. So they just had a few questions about the license model, and I could tell them that it's free. So.
Okay. Have you ever been recognised anywhere? Because you're kind of famous especially in the system center community nowadays.
I've been a few times, or more than a few times actually, especially at events like this. Yeah. But one of the times was actually when I went to the local swim. I don't know what's the English word for that.
Yeah, it's pool.
The local pool, and you're showering first, and then I'm all there as nature created me. And then a guy come up to me and he said, "Hey, hello," and I was like,
awkward.
A little bit. So, and he said, "You might not recognize me." I said, "No, actually not right now." And then he just introduced himself, and I said, "Okay, hi."
Excellent. There's probably better places to be recognised.
Exactly.
Okay. What in your opinion do you think is the sort of, is there any hot utilities or really good utilities apart from the things that you guys create at Cortec? Is there anything that's of particular sort of interest for you at the moment?
So what I'm really looking into is mainly, as I just said, the mobile device management solution. Yeah. Because there is a huge space there. Currently, we do have some vendors, and some of them are doing a good job. But it's always, if you add in another vendor, it's another management solution, another server. It's just making everything a bit more complex. So that's actually my right now my number one feature. So I'm really looking forward to the R2 System Center and the integration with the new version of Intune.
Okay, excellent. What's what for you is the best thing about being an MVP?
The best thing about being an MVP, that would be, I mean, that's
you get invited to things like this.
This is absolutely a great opportunity, being recognized for the work that you do, but also the other MVPs, the community that we have. I mean, when I became an MVP, I instantly got like 50 new colleagues, and that's to me has been amazing. How well we actually connect with each other, how we can share knowledge, ideas, help each other at local user group meetings and stuff like that. So that is, I mean, a tremendous amount of work for me that has just been easier by becoming an MVP. And then, of course, also the interaction with the product group, also invaluable in my eyes.
Okay, so last question. If you weren't a config manager guy and an MVP, is there anything else? Any other passion in life that you think you could be?
Well, non-professional passions I have a lot. I'm a great outdoor person, so I love diving, running, hiking, biking. But that doesn't really pay any bills. So if I had to choose another way of living, it would definitely be something that involves people, communication. I don't really know what exactly, but it has to be something that involves people and communication.
Okay, great stuff. All right, I'll just leave you to thank you very much for your time, Ken. Appreciate that.
Thanks for inviting me here.